Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the House of Moody Vintage. Man, what a interesting transition into the new week. Had another chill type of weekend, mainly because I am just trying to just really hold on to the free time that I have right now, and I'm already feeling like I can just feel the intensity of the workload going into the new week. It's back to normal regular schedule. I'm waking up at 6:00 in the morning now. Oh my god, the term break was great, but now it's back to normal. And even my colleague was saying, he's like, oh shit, the terms back on, new semester. You know what I mean? So now we gotta work. Now we gotta worry about the workload and the work schedule, and I got classes and shit. So I'm just like, oh my god, I'm already feeling it. It's first week. I only really attended one class, so I'm like, oh my god, and it's early in the morning, right? So I'm like, especially on Mondays and Thursdays, my schedule's gonna be packed. Like I'm gonna be fucking exhausted by the end of the day on Mondays and Thursdays. So it's sort of like preparing myself, on Sundays I have to fucking, I cannot afford to go out and, do fun, crazy shit. I can do fun, lazy shit, like staying my ass home, which I did this past weekend. But, you have to sort of readjust your, biological clock. Your body's like, okay, this is we gotta wake up at a different time now. It's early as fuck. You gotta get started early as fuck, and I have to attend different types of I got different tasks now, different responsibilities, more responsibilities. Sort of going back to the flow of things, and I'm just fucking preparing myself, man. Preparing myself. Even today, even though there was a pocket of time. But then quickly I realized a pocket of time in the sense that I was able to relax. But then I realized immediately, while I was trying to relax, while I was trying to take advantage of that off time, that I was like, oh shit, I'm already falling back on a couple of tasks already. So I got to be careful, man. I got to, and tonight's going to be a late ass night for me. It's going to be a late ass night for me because I got, I just got to catch up on work. That's what I got to do. So I'm sort of taking a break at the moment from that workload, to record another episode of the podcast. It's episode 21. It's good to be back. It's kind of like Cristiano Ronaldo, at Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson. They're over there talking about a lot of the things that they need to discuss. It's a crisis meeting, and I've got all different types of accents coming in and out right now. Now I'm doing my Scottish accent, hopefully it works out. Sir Alex Ferguson's there, so hopefully Ronaldo stays at Manchester, and everything works out for everybody. Because we want him to stay. We don't want him to leave. I wouldn't want him to leave. He's a bloody icon. So we would love them to stick around. So with that ridiculous, I don't know, I jumped all over the place there. I apologize. Back here. Okay. So it was just a relaxing weekend. I got to watch The Black Phone, which was, I don't know, surprisingly good. It was good. It's a Blumhouse picture. I love Blumhouse. And it wasn't horror, right? It was more of a thriller than a horror to me, at least to me, So I kind of appreciated that. It's very I don't want to say similar. It's kind of like Don't Breathe, right? Don't Breathe, and then the sequel, of course, which I've been meaning to watch for a while. Totally forgot to watch that. So it's like Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe wasn't really a horror movie. It was more of a thriller, right? So The Black Phone is basically similar to that sense, right? Genre-wise, I think, for me. It could be categorized as horror. I guess there's horror elements, but what really impressed me was, well, first of all, Ethan Hawke, of course, Ethan Hawke is in the film. He was quite menacing, but I was more impressed by the kids, man. The kids that they cast for this film, especially the little girl Gwen, who's played by Madeline McGraw. I thought she was brilliant. I thought she was fantastic. Mason Thames, who plays Finney. The kids were fantastic. So the brother and sister duo, great job. Their performance was fantastic. I think I was more impressed and entertained by their performances than the actual movie. I know that sounds weird, because again, it wasn't terribly made. It was it was proper, and it was like a throwback, right? We're in, I think it was like the late 70s, I believe, where it took place. Yeah, I think it was like late 70s, right? Yeah, anyway, so it was cool. We went to watch it in theaters. It's been out for a while. It came out in June, so I just figured, my friends called me up, hey, what are you doing Saturday, let's go watch a movie. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go watch, I guess. And this is like not my regular movie theater, because I only watch my movies on IMAX. I'm bougie like that when it comes to my movies. You know what I'm saying? Even though I watch most of the movies at home, on my television. So I guess I'm not that bougie. Well, I mean, if you're gonna spend your hard-earned money, right, you do it the proper way. You gotta go to freaking IMAX. Get the comfy ass seats, bro. And enjoy it from there. So this was like totally out of my usual sort of routine. So we went to I went to a different theater, and excuse me, and it wasn't IMAX, unfortunately. Although, to be honest, I don't mind watching this. I wouldn't mind watching this film, even on television. It's a movie that you'd kind of watch it on TV. Like, I would watch it on TV. I know that sounds weird, but it's one of those, like, it's in the same, I would say, in the same level of a streaming platform. Like, you could watch this on Apple TV Plus, or freaking Amazon or Netflix or whatever, right? So yeah, I wouldn't find there wouldn't be that much of a difference watching it on TV and then watching this on theater. It's just that kind of content for me, at least for me. So I didn't mind paying it and watching in theaters, but I thought you could have just watched it at home. It is a good film, it's well done. It's by Scott Derrickson, so you can't go. It's not going to be horrible. It's not going to be bad. It's going to be a solid movie, and it was a very solid movie. And but yeah, it's just something I think I would have watched or been able to watch on a streaming platform. So I saw that, and there's a bunch of other stuff. And Westworld is getting good. I know people are still a little skeptic about that, and I totally understand. But it's getting really good, because now it's like this sort of like God complex thing that's happening right now on the show in the newest season, and it's really about the hosts becoming these like modern day Olympian gods. You'll see what I mean if you decide to watch the show, of course. So Westworld was fantastic. It's been fantastic so far for me. I'm enjoying it. So far, so good. But yeah, apart from that, I'm just catching up on certain documentaries and newly minted movies like the Gray Man. The Gray Man I briefly discussed on my Instagram, and it's the Russo brothers. It's an action flick. It's not about like winning awards. Not every movie you're gonna watch or want to watch has to be a fucking Academy Award nominated film. You can just be entertained. That's all. You don't need to go beyond that. It can just be a fun watch. It could be a good watch, and it's about a CIA agent. It's about the CIA. It's espionage. They're assassins, and the usual. And I'm a sucker for that, absolute sucker for that. But I trust in the Russo brothers because I think they're fantastic filmmakers, and I don't think they haven't made a bad movie yet, or like that I can say. Again, art is of course subjective. We're not going to always agree on everything, but when it comes to the Russo brothers, I know I'm going to have it's going to be entertaining content, and that's what it was. That's what Gray Man was. or is. So I think it may have like a not so, probably not so great Rotten Tomato score. In fact, let me just really quickly. Yeah, it's 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 50. It's higher in Metacritic. Wow, 51 on Metacritic, which is surprising. It's usually the other way around. But the average audience, they're gonna enjoy this, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. It's just a fun ass, action film. And if they came out a sequel, I think it's pretty good too. If it come out a sequel, because you could have easily watched this. Like I said, it's sort of on the same level of The Black Phone. You could have watched The Gray Man in theaters and then totally enjoyed it for what it is, which is an action movie. It's entertaining. That's it. It's about spies. It's about CIA shit. Again, like I said, espionage and one man being set up for something. It's nothing new. It's not original, of course. And then a host of assassins come and things like that. Then, anyways, there was a couple of really good surprises in the film, which I thought was fantastic. Danush is in there, which was such a cool move for the Russo brothers to get Danush in there. He's a very famous Indian actor who doesn't do Bollywood films. He's a South Indian actor, so it was great to see him there. And I saw a lot of the press junkets and things like that where there was really a really solid camaraderie between Danush and the other members of the cast, the actors, and with Ryan Gosling, of course, and then you have Miss Ana de Armas, who plays Danny Miranda, I think, and that's her name, yeah. So and of course Chris Evans. Chris Evans was, he. What a fantastic character! What a fantastic character he played. I thought he was wonderful in this film. He plays a straight up asshole, and he's sort of not sort of, he's the villain. Not like a main boss kind of thing, but definitely that kind of level of approaching someone in a film, an antagonist. But I think he did a great. I thought he did a fantastic job. Chris Evans did a great job. And, Chris, of course, he's worked with the Russo brothers before, so very comfortable in that set, and you can see that, the way they shot the film. And, but Ana de Armas, man, she's just, there are very few individuals where I will just watch the movie just for that person. I don't care if it's a shit script, and, Anna's one of them, Anna is one of them. I think she is... I think everyone will agree. She has got to be one of the most beautiful, most naturally beautiful human beings on this planet. Okay? And there's no two ways about it. That's it. Like, that is it. No other comment. I'm not gonna go on a whole campaign about how wonderful Ana de Armas is. And of course, she has the new Marilyn Monroe movie coming out on Netflix as well. I'm a little iffy about that. I'm not going to lie to you. Not because of, clearly not because of Ana, and I'm going to watch it anyway, but I don't have high expectations because I don't want this to, and I heard it was a little racy, okay? Which is fine. I get it. It's based on her, it's true events, right? These are real characters, real people, historical, individuals, and she plays as Marilyn Monroe, of course, and sort of the dark side of Hollywood, and I get that. I just don't want them to sort of take a similar route that they took with Pam and Tommy, or Tommy and Pam on Hulu. Was it Pam and Tommy? I'm pretty sure it's Pam and Tommy. Pam and Tommy. Just checking here. Yeah, Pam and Tommy, right? Which I enjoyed, but at the same time I felt guilty because of what the real Pamela Anderson had to go through. But again, it was just one of those, like, I don't know, it's just one of those, like, I couldn't pass it up, and I didn't want to judge it beforehand, regardless of the nature of the content, right? And Lily James is one of my favorite. I love her to death. So she's, again, it's one of those actresses that I just love watching, and I wouldn't mind seeing them in whatever character they choose to portray on the screen. And so Anna's doing it, and she's fantastic. And the other person, and since we're in the same sort of theme right here, I just finished watching HBO's Irma Vep, and that of course has Alicia Vikander, and I've already expressed my admiration for her. She's one of my favorite actresses of all time, probably in my top 5 right now. And just like I said on Instagram, you know, she is just another amazing actress that is so captivating every time I see her on screen. It's one of those people that you see on, you know, whether it's the big screen or TV or whatever, the size of the fucking screen. She just captivates me. I'm just watching every little facial tick, expression, body language. She's such an amazing actress. And we're so, I'm not we, but, you know, so grateful to live in a time with such wonderful talent. And it really, you know, it just makes you really appreciate the art of filmmaking and what these actors, they're playing a character. They're playing a totally different character that is not of their own. They may not have anything, you know, any relation to it, or any relatable qualities or characteristics to these people that they portray on screen, and they do it so fucking amazingly. And it's a work of art. And Alicia Vikander is a work of art. So if you're a fan like me of Alicia Vikander, please watch Irma Vep on HBO. I thought it was fantastic, and it's a very artsy type of approach to it. So, excuse me. So you might have to, I don't know, if you're not used to it, not artsy in the way it will completely turn you off, but it's a very, I would say it's a bit quirky. It's a bit quirky. I won't go as far as saying it's an art house film. It is it is shot in a very sort of independent way. You can tell that it's low budget, but but it's still quality. Like, it's executed in a very, there's quality there, right? It's executed in I don't want to say high quality, because you can tell by the production level. But at the same time, when you see the elements around in each scene or each frame, you can tell that they didn't spend too much on this series, right? And whatever they had, and maybe they were limited to a budget. But if you just sort of pay attention to the script and how it's written, and you watch a show in the series, and you sort of pick up on the characters, and you just start to realize, like, oh, okay, this is more about the actual content. It's actually the process of making this film, and it's a series, but process of making in filmmaking, right? So you sort of appreciate that, and you know that, well, clearly they didn't spend millions on this, and of course, given the cast, and it's shot in France as well. So I think in Paris, yes, it is shot in Paris. So that's great as well. So yeah, I would recommend it. But it's maybe not for the average audience, like the general audience, I should say. I wouldn't go that far. So maybe if you really want to invest in watching something that's a wee bit toned down, a little grounded, you know, in the art of filmmaking, and you know, has a lot of references to an old French film, old black and white film. The movie's not black and white, so don't worry. So yeah, there's a lot of historic elements in it, but it's not French noir. Okay, so this, because the movie that they talk about in the film, you know, it was shot in the freaking 1915 to 1920s, around there. So I think it was around that time. So yeah, this is silent films days. So you can imagine. But yeah, so there the character that she plays, that Alicia Vikander plays, is, you know, she's an actress, and a Hollywood actress, taking a break from like blockbusters and things like that. She wants to do some bit more independent, more artistic kind of thing, you know. So goes to Paris and gets with a French filmmaking crew, and the director is French, and you know, it's the whole French production kind of deal. But it's shot in English. Okay, so technically, yeah, I get it. It's a French production, but the thing's in English. However, the movie that she's shooting is in English. Everything else is both French and English. So the French characters are talking to, speaking French to each other, and then of course there's there's American actors. Alicia Vikander, she's a Hollywood actress, so she's speaking in English and things like that. And there's a bit of like portrayal of an old school actress's memoir, and they sort of act the memoir out, right? It's sort of like a journal entries coming to life sort of deal. And in there, Alicia Vikander speaks French, and she's quite fluent in French. She's a very talented actress. And a lot of her like real life sort of experiences are mentioned here. She even refers to herself as a Swedish actress, which she is, She's from Sweden, but very much in that sort of like has an American culture thing going on. So it's a very interesting movie. You got to see it for yourself. I can't really explain it, but so she goes back to this, sort of grounded type of role. It's an historic character. It's French, and she just wants to take a break from everything, and she wants to create this work of art with this a very I guess a well-respected director according to the film. And there's of course like hijinks going on, and behind the scenes there's drama, the usual stuff that happens in real life filmmaking. Like a character going to the emergency room because he was doing erotic asphyxiation, trying to get an erection by basically trying to suffocate himself, in the closet. That didn't end well. So you'll see that. So those kind of things, like crack addiction and, doing drugs and then like doing the best work of your career, I guess, all this crazy shit. You just gotta watch it. But it's not like overdone. It's not like over dramatic or things like that, but it's a well-paced film. It's slightly a slow burn, but mainly because it shows you the ins and outs of like shooting a movie of this level, or shooting a movie of this a series. A series that, it's in the series Irma Vep, which is a character from an old vampire movie. Okay, that's the name of the show. But in the show, the place where, Alicia Vikander is shooting, she plays an actress and things like that, that is also a series. But the director calls it an 8-hour film, which is a direct, it's art imitating life. That's what we're seeing nowadays. Movies have become, television shows have become like these long extended films, right? On our streaming platforms that we watch quite frequently or often. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's a really interesting take. I really liked it. I really appreciate it. It's something that's sort of offbeat kind of thing, and there's a lot of nuance to it. So I think it'll be appreciated by real film enthusiasts like moi. But yeah, that was pretty much it, man. And I was also just not looking forward to this week. It's a very busy week. Although I'm looking forward to the weekend as usual. Why wouldn't I? When we all have busy weekdays and we're all in the grind and we're looking for a fucking moment to breathe, which I won't have after I end this episode. So there's just a lot of things that made me realize that I was going back, and it happens quite often. Just very quickly, I wanted to share this with you guys because I feel like this whole episode was about freaking movie reviews and TV show reviews, and it is. I'm sorry, but I'll have a longer episode next week or something. I don't know to talk about the other crap that's going in through my head, because I've been thinking about like certain things that we used to do when we were kids. When kids in the sense like we were like preteens or teenagers. I recently got in contact again on Instagram with a very old friend of mine that I've known since elementary school, and I used to have a crush on this girl, right? And she has a kid now and everything, and has moved on, whatever. Moved on as in like everyone's grown, just like just like how life happens, right? So I used to have a huge crush on this girl. I just remembered certain things when we were kids. We used to do really stupid things to like impress someone we liked or someone we had a crush on, you know, and how we got into like relationships when we didn't even know what the hell a fucking relationship was, right? Like 14-year-old puppy love, whatever, you know, my first girlfriend, it wasn't a relationship, but it was like a first girlfriend kind of thing. It was with the neighborhood hottie. Like she was this 5'7" fucking gorgeous, you know, half Puerto Rican, half Mexican woman, you know, and she is still very, very much gorgeous. Haven't talked to her in a while, but, you know, she was, so that's, it's just, and we would just do very, very silly things. And I'll get into that. I promise I'll get into that. It's also part of the manuscript I talked about in the previous episode of the script or the book or where the hell it is now. I don't know what it is. So yeah, it just reminded me of that because of the movies that we've seen, because there is sort of that complex adult romantic elements in Irma Vep, in the Alicia Vikander series on HBO. So a lot of that it sticks with us, man. Even though we're like in our, you know, I'm 3 years shy from being 40. So, you know, I'm in my late 30s, and it's a lot of that sticks with us. It's sort of part of our core characteristic of who we are, characteristics, right, of who we are and how we go on about things and how we sort of approach love and relationships. And it really makes you think. You got to sit there and kick back and be like, well, wow, like not like fundamentally, not much has changed. We just sort of go on things about a different way. We have different perspectives. We're more aware of red flags, and our tolerance level is very low now. So those things have changed. But I think the way we've sort of romanticized, fantasized certain things, I don't know, for the most part, I can only speak for myself, is it's quite similar. Not that much has changed. I'm still an old school romantic, you know. I'm proud of it too. So I just wanted to close this episode with that thought there. And I really want to dive deeper into that in the next episode for sure, along with everything else that we need to catch up on. All right, guys, that'll do it for me here for another episode here of a House of Moody Vintage podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, and subscribing, if you like, please like it, or, you know, give it a good rating on that one thing called Spotify and Apple. I'm out of here. All right. Peace.